I could have easily started dating all these other people for all the wrong reasons. But I feel something that we need to acknowledge in our community is a lot of the unhealed trauma and things that our people have gone through and just haven't faced. And that's a big part of the reason why we have some of these conversations and we get into these spats, because I feel at the core, there's a lot of hurt and damage and trauma at the base. But as far as when I met Derek, bringing it back into my adult years, I was still open to dating other people. Deep down, like, I was hoping I could find what I was looking for in a black man. But when I met Derek and we started talking, it wasn't his blackness that made that decision for me. For me, there were more important things. Like when we had our first 4-hour conversation on a rooftop looking at the moon, I asked him, "What is your purpose? Where are you trying to go?" Because when I met Derek, you know this soul, he didn't have no money.
Zero.
So
we were living in his car, wasn't
he? Yeah, he was sleeping in his car to make it to work at 4 a.m., leaving at 11. Like, so I saw beyond all that. And it was like, okay, so I see the drive. I see you have discipline. So let me figure out what else is going on here. So I asked him, what is your purpose? What are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? Do you have a plan to get there? I can already see from your actions, because we've been introduced like a year prior, that you are disciplined. So what else is going on with all that, And so for me, this is where it comes back into find someone that aligns with who you are, where you're going, and what you want. And if you don't know who you are and you don't know your purpose, I'm speaking to the men, then you shouldn't even be dealing with women to begin with. Because how are you going to bring a woman into your situation, black, white, purple, ET? How are you going to bring a woman into your space if you don't even know where you're going as a man?
True.
Right?
Very
and so
true.
even my brother, for example, asked me, about women, advice for women and things like that. And it's like, John, don't worry. Like, I'm not going to judge you if who you marry is a white woman or something like that. What will break my heart is if you marry because of a sense of black inferiority. That's what will break my heart. What will break my heart is if you marry a woman and then you have no purpose.
That's probably not where her mind at, and I get that. But what I'm saying is, she would get dudes from all around the world trying to hit on her, as opposed to if you just walked outside the door, Ms. Victoria probably may get maybe 1 or 2 dudes missing some, and then maybe another 2 dudes to be a little bit more crass, right? Let's just be real. Like, her approaches may not be that aggressive, but in them DMs, yeah, man, you're talking about accessibility is on a whole new level. That's why if you look at the study that talked about Tinder and OkCupid, they were saying women get far more DMs and acceptability across social media than men do. So when we ask the question, do black men want to get married? All you can do is ask black women to open up them DMs. That's telling you the truth right there.
Yeah. So let me just make sure I'm hearing you right. Are you saying, because correct me if I'm wrong, are you saying like when a lot of sisters are talking about relationships and marriage, that the men are there?
Absolutely, the men are there. Yeah. Let's look at the stats, right? Let's look at the numbers for a second, okay? Yeah. And this is a hard, ugly math problem that we need to fix, but it's one of these math problems that young black men are done trying to figure out. So this is why when you're asking young black men to it's either to date out of your, let me rephrase it. If you take a young black boy who's on his point, right? It was a 64% of black men are in the middle class, right? You take, and this guy's 30 and below. He goes to his mom, and who's a black single mother, and she goes, "Hey, mom, I've got 2 women. I've got one sister here who has a child out of wedlock, and I've got this non-biracial, this non-black woman who does not have a kid outside of wedlock. Mom, which one should I pick?" 9 times out of 10, his mother's gonna tell you pick the one without no kids.
Okay, pause right there. Vicky and Aliyah, what do you think about that statement?
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in with my answer. Ladies, please do not throw tomatoes at me in the chat. Because I come from a family of predominantly men. So I've always had like a deeper connection and been able to get along with men. What what does a single mother do for a man without children? What does it do to help him out when your resources are coming and going back to the sellout definition? Like, but how is he selling out? How is he selling out by not making that decision? Because this woman with the child is going to take away from his resources, his legacy, especially if he wants his own children. And then not only that, let's just keep it 1,000. There is a plethora of potential issues that come with dating women with children from other men. It's already something if it's just one. And there's like things that men have put me on game about, that if the child is under 5, very probable that she's still sleeping with baby daddy. So then let's take it and put it into multiple baby daddies.
One more time for brothers in the back.
Oh, if the child is
I've never heard it in my life. I've never heard it in my life. If the child is under 5, forget it, because it's still too new. It's too fresh. The hormones, the emotions, the body, everything. It's still just too much, and she's probably still sleeping with him. So then let's not even take into consideration, what if there's multiple children and multiple baby daddies? So like at this point in the game, what can she offer you of value that she has not already given other men?
Miss Victoria, let me ask you a hard question.
Uh-oh.
This is a real hard question.
Oh, God.
Okay. Do you think Black women who have children out of wedlock are a sellout to the Black community?
By definition.
Children out of wedlock. I could see yes, just because you're not staying with the father of that child, and in some instances you are selfishly taking on or it's like selfishly accepting all of the problems that child will have by not having a leader in the house, right? Now, I'm not talking about the more extreme situations of violence and drug abuse and gambling and all that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that. But just like if he wasn't a bad guy, you're doing so much damage to the child,
But in any case, like right now, to what Brother Sugg said, like, I'm not dating you if you got children. For what? Because you're looking at me. I'm looking at it like, if I can't lead you, I got no business being with you. But now if you got extra financial obligations and I can't even be prioritized for attention, not that I need it, but if you got your kid, I got to respect that's your kid. And I would understand it if it was my biological kid, because I'm going to put myself second for that kid. But when it's yours, I can't give myself that onus the same way, just on a biological level. So it's just like, it's a huge turnoff to even consider that. It's like, now I got to think about a whole situation I have to think about.
So let me ask y'all this, mainly Ali and Victoria. Let's say a woman is a single mother. Let's say she's a single mother, and what you're saying is the way it is. Like she has no value in this. What should a single mother do to move forward? Should she just throw in the towel and say, you know what, for the next 18 years, my life is to be this, or should she just move different?
Move different?
How should she move?
Just because you're a single mother doesn't mean you don't deserve to date. You just have to choose what is more in alignment. Like, I wouldn't necessarily, if I was a single woman that had children, I don't have any children. If I was a single woman that had children, I would not want to even date a man that doesn't have children, because he may not understand the plight of being a parent. So let's just put it out there like that. So even her wanting to be with a single man is a liability even to her, because she can't, if he's a single man, he's going to move like a single man.
I definitely don't feel like, oh, just because a woman has had a child, she is now unworthy of love and, you know,
Absolutely.
she's got to be banished to the shadow realm. I'm not saying that's, you know, going to be her existence from now on. But something I'm noticing is that, and this is even through my personal life, because, you know, so I teach yoga. And back in Houston, a lot of my first clients were former NFL players and things like that, still trying to just work on their flexibility after the sport and all that. And so I would talk to them about relationships, about women and things like that. And they would tell me, you know, I would love to get back out there and meet more eligible Black women, but a lot of them have this entitlement through the roof, but the femininity has dropped down. There's multiple baby daddies. Many of them don't like to work out. You know, it's kind of like this, oh, take me as I am, no matter what. But yet, if he is a bit sloppy, then they don't like that, which is hilarious to me. So it's just like, again, going back to the whole, I mean, are they really betraying something? If anything, to accept these subpar conditions, they're betraying themselves.
I agree with that.
Let me say this though, because from a man's point of view, it really doesn't matter. Like when a man meets a woman and she has a child, it doesn't matter. Well, I won't say it doesn't matter, but not as much as like a man doesn't say, okay, well, if she was married and had a child, she's in a certain bucket. If she was single and had a child because he's not really looking at that part as much. He's looking at the obligation that's coming his way as being a man. Yeah. How would unless that woman is widowed, he's gonna look at that situation pretty much the same. I would look at a widow different, maybe, but it's still the same thing. But the thing that alters, the thing that I think a lot of women don't understand when they're single mothers and they're saying, "Oh, I still want to date," even if they're dating a guy with kids, it can alter the dynamics of a relationship. And what I mean by that is if a woman is coming to a man, say if a woman is coming to a man's life and he wants her to go straight into that role like you're in, Vic, like you're straight housewife, like you holding the house down. If he wants to bring a woman in, he wants her to hold the house down, like take care of the meals and be full domestic. Don't work. Don't go get a job. If a woman is bringing a child or children, that can have a tendency to alter that position he has for that woman. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of him, and he may want that woman to come in and be full domestic, but if she's bringing a child or two children, it's like now you're bringing. It costs a lot of money to raise a kid.
Absolutely.
I mean, it costs about $250,000 to raise a child on the low end.
Yeah,
so a lot of women don't understand that. Hey, if I'm bringing a child, if I'm bringing two children, I'm expecting you to come out an extra $500,000 on top of what it takes to put me in this domestic role. And I think a lot of women don't understand that part of it. So that's my 2 cents on that.